In this tabletop review, I'm going to be talking about something a little bit different. I don't normally review cell phone products and camera products and so on because it's just not my area of expertise. But from time to time I do buy new stuff that I use myself, and I want to do a review, an honest review about it, talk about why I bought it, and kind of give you a demonstration of it. So I'm not going to get overly technical. I am not a camera expert, not by any means. So I use a camera as a tool to do product reviews on specific types of products, and so I don't live the camera life like some people do. But what I've recently noticed is using my Panasonic G7 in outdoors environments as well as sometimes indoors, the built-in microphones just basically are nothing to get real excited about. They don't work that great. They are susceptible to wind noise and so on. So most people that use a camera at any type of level, professional, semi-professional, amateur, most people will buy an external microphone. So what are you going to buy for a microphone? Well, there's a lot of microphones on the market. There's tons of stuff on eBay and Amazon, and a lot of stuff made in China, and there's a lot of junk out there. I bought a few of them myself, absolute garbage microphones that really are not any better than the internal microphones of your camera. I, like many of you, watch videos, I do reviews, I read product announcements and forums and so on to get an idea of what other people are using. And it's kind of well known in the field that the Rode microphones are some of the better microphones on the market that are very reasonably priced. Now, this particular one is the VideoMicro, the one I'm looking at here. This is the one I bought to go with my camera. This is a smaller microphone out of the Rode line, and it is a non-powered one. That is, it doesn't require a battery, which for my needs is just fine. I've listened to some A/B comparisons of this microphone and other Rodes, and while there is a sound quality difference between them, I can't say that one is necessarily better than the other. You can definitely tell that there is a sound difference. So on a professional level, the higher end microphones are probably the better choice for the professionals, but for us consumers, we have some lesser expensive options, and this happens to be one of them. Now, this is a microphone you can pick up. I picked it up for about $59 off of Amazon, and it comes with a dead cat, which is a windsock. Dead cat is the industry acronym for it, or slang term for it, and most microphones don't come with those. So that's a real bonus on this particular microphone. And not only are you getting the microphone and the mount, you're getting the dead cat or the windsock for it as well. That was a good sell point for me. Also the fact that it didn't need a battery. I've actually tried a few different microphones that require batteries, and you got to turn them on. And I'm such a dumbass, I forget to turn them on half the time, and if I'm not paying attention, I screw up my video. So this time around, I didn't want a microphone that I had to worry about turning on. So this fit the bill for that. And this is an item that's made in Australia. It's well packaged. You know, this is your standard POP packaging. Comes with a 2-year warranty. Rode is, you know, www.rode.com. Go to their website for yourself. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about Rode, but they definitely are one of the better manufacturers out there, at least from what my research has shown. And what's in the packaging? You'll have to excuse the packaging. I've already taken this out and I've used it and played around with it and so on, so I threw everything kind of back in the packaging here. So we've got our mount, and you can see that this is one of those types of mounts where you mount it on your camera, and it's kind of a suspension type of mount, and it's obviously made out of some type of polymer. The inside of this part that goes around the microphone is rubberized. This is a well-made piece right here from what I've seen. It fits nice and it does its job. So it's designed to more or less cut down on vibrations and any type of noises that might be transmitted to your microphone. And it does accomplish its job from what I can tell. We also have a small little coiled red audio jack cable to plug into your camera, an instructional booklet, and one of these little water absorption packets. And there's the microphone right here, and you can see that this is a directional microphone. So you know, your primary point of the sound coming in is here, and I believe to a lesser extent on the sides. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit, because one thing when I was reviewing microphones that nobody really talked about is microphone placement on the camera. When you see these microphones, well, I'll get into that in a moment, but let's go ahead and take our microphone and get it in this mount. And there's probably multiple ways to do this. This is just kind of how I get it in there. There's a recess right here on the microphone for this mount. So once you get it in the recess, it doesn't move around. It's more or less going to stay in place. Now, when we talk about direction, what you'll see, I want to talk about that a little bit before I go further here. You'll see people mount these on a camera with this facing forward, and that assumes that the subjects that you're going to be recording are in front of the microphone. And that works great. You know, if they're in the front of the microphone or off to the side a little bit, you're going to pick up their voices. It's going to be very detailed. The problem you have is if they're behind the microphone and they're talking, that sound comes around and then is picked up. So it kind of gives a echoey, is that even a word? A hollow type sound. And what I don't see people really talking about is that particular issue. For instance, I'm doing a commentary and I'm more or less behind my camera. So if I was to mount this facing forward, my voice is going to come around and be picked up, and it's not going to be clear and concise. It's going to sound like I'm 10 feet away in a room and the microphone's picking up my voice. What I do is I'll actually flip this around and I'll point the microphone at me since I'm behind the camera. Now, if you're a YouTube commentator and you're in front of the camera and your face is on camera, then of course you want this facing you. But if you're doing videos or product reviews or what have you, and you're behind the camera like I am, I flip this around and face the microphone towards me. That allows my voice to come through much clearer, and it doesn't sound like I'm in an echo chamber. So I wanted to throw that out there because right now on my Panasonic G7 I'm using the internal microphone. So up to this point you've been listening to my voice through the internal microphones. I'm going to do a few tests where I use this microphone, and I'm going to have the microphone placing forward, and then I'm going to have it placing behind me where I'm sitting, so you can hear the difference. So that's about the extent that I'm going to do for tests with this particular microphone. So you know what the internal Panasonic G7 microphones sound like right now, because that's what I'm using. The next step of this, I will be using the Rode microphone. Now, one thing I did notice is with the dead cat on or off, I don't really notice a sound quality difference. I'm not going to demonstrate that on video because I don't want this to be that long, but I did play around with this and I did test it. I did not notice any type of sound quality difference. When I did shoot some videos outdoors without the dead cat, I could notice wind noise. With the dead cat on, it did not change the tonal sound of my voice, and it more or less eliminated all of the wind noise. So the dead cat, although it looks kind of like a tribble, I don't know why they don't call them tribble instead of dead cats. To me it looks like a tribble, but it does its job. And on a lot of microphones, you got to pay extra for this. So this particular Rode that comes with the Tribble is a great buy. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put this microphone on my Panasonic G7, and I do apologize I can't show that because that's the camera I'm using to make this video. So you'll have to take my word for it. The first part of this test, I'm going to have the microphone facing forward, in other words away from me, and I'll give you a sound test of that, and then I'll face it towards me, and then I'll give you a sound test of that, and you can judge for yourself if it makes a difference which way the microphone is oriented. Okay, I have the Rode VideoMic installed on my Panasonic G7. It is facing forward. I'm directly behind the camera, which is where I am most of the time when I'm doing tabletop reviews and commentaries and so on. So you can see what my voice sounds like with the microphone oriented this way. And you should be able to tell a difference in tonal quality between the internal microphone, which I was using at the beginning part of this review, and the Rode VideoMicro that I'm using now. So I'm going to change the orientation of the microphone, and I'm going to flip it around and face it directly towards me, and we'll be able to tell what that sounds like. Okay, back again. The Rode VideoMicro is now facing directly towards me. I'm directly behind the camera, and this is what my voice sounds like with the microphone in this orientation. I found that this, for my particular needs, works best and sounds best, so this is how I set it up when I'm making videos. That's pretty much going to wrap up this particular tabletop review of the Rode VideoMicro. I'm sorry if I don't go into hardcore details and specifications and so on. That wasn't my intent with this particular video. My intent was basically just to show it, let you know that I was using it, that I like it, I'm very happy with the purchase, and how I've arranged it on my camera so that it works best for my purposes and my video commentaries.